So now that we've spoken about the background, do you want to tell us about what you're working on and why you're doing it?
Do you want us to explain what Pushpa is?
Yeah.
So Pushpa is essentially both a community and a platform for the diaspora, currently of Bangladesh mostly, to put money together and then vote on where the money goes and I guess projects the money will fund. These projects help people get jobs, start up businesses, and ultimately increase their economic status. And they are usually the most vulnerable communities in Bangladesh. So we recently funded our first project in December, and that was Project Follow On, which is a unreal project. Like, honestly, I was so excited when I spoke to them for the first time. I think do you remember me coming to you and saying,
yes.
I said, we have to fund them. I don't care whether anyone votes or not, or we are funding these guys. So they're essentially they're a project that work in North Bangladesh, Endarbari, where they support farmers with three things predominantly. To give a bit of context, it's essentially due to climate change and how climate affects their crops and their yield and ultimately their income. So they really struggle supporting their family, and year on year it keeps getting worse, right? But what these guys do, they provide seeds, so corn or chili are the cash crops within this, and they are very resistant to some of the climate changes or the effects of climate. And they also provide a direct route into Dhaka, into the markets, where usually middlemen take over 50% of their profits. So this gives them the whole package, and it's a full solution with 3 partners, and we funded it. And yeah, so it's honestly unreal. And I think the economic impact for them is, well, I'm certain of the economic impact. It's 20% increase in their overall income and 32% increase in their yield every time they go through this project.
And that's directly impacting those families and their livelihood.
And when you talk about one farmer, so we currently invested in 13 farmers or funded 13 farmers, and on average you're looking around 5 per family. So we're on, I think, 65 people, right? So yeah, it's 65 people are actively impacted every year. And I think the main thing is, and which the whole reason for Pushpa is, it's creating something sustainable, is that we get to a point where if they constantly increase their yield and increase their income, they won't need Pushpa, they won't need Project Follow On, right? They've already learned how to manage that. And that's our main aim. So I think just having that project as our first project is super
and
exciting.
This is generational. You're not, because I think it touches on the sustainable element, which is
Yeah.
that you're not just giving someone money, you're not just giving them a one-time payment, you're actually helping generations of that family.
Yeah, I think that ties into, sorry to jump in, but I think that ties into what Zaynab was mentioning earlier around charity and the one-dimensional element around what people are used to. I think where I was looking at it 4 or 5 years ago was that trickle-down economics does not work. Putting money in the top doesn't work, and it doesn't filter down to the people that need it the most. Charity, although solves a real problem, is it a real solution? Is my argument. And that unless we're funding things that are actually sustainable, are you really helping? And obviously there's a place for charity, and they do some amazing work, but we're just always going to be there. And you want to get to a point now where, well, I feel I want to get to a point where we're proud of our heritage, but also there are things that they've got problems that are really foundational problems or issues that can really be helped through actual on-the-ground sustainable projects that are delivered. And that's our aim, right? We want to, our new saying is we're building something that's going to be shut down soon, right? Or we were building something to shut down in a couple of years or 10 years, however many years. So that's what I'd say. I don't know if you had anything to say.
Yeah, the only thing that I would add as well is when we're talking about solutions to problems as well, one of the cool things that Pushpa lets us do is work with people on the ground who have already come up with the solution. Because from the projects that I've seen with the numerous charities that we've worked with, a lot of it is about like external intervention. So someone comes, sees a problem, and they try to fix it as someone externally removed from the situation and often removed from some of the ongoing problems that that this community might have to face later on. And there's so many examples of this, like like water well projects. One thing that they're infamously known for is charities will come build a water well somewhere and then leave without actually training the people on how to like repair that water well. So it actually goes bust in a couple of months, and then another charity comes and builds another one. So it's that kind of ongoing like broken record effect of trying to provide a solution that is completely unsustainable or sometimes even not needed. But what's cool about Pushpa is that the team that we were working with to make Project Fund happen were like the coolest team of like Bangladeshis who were pretty much the same age as us, if not more educated than us actually, and so passionate about what they were doing. They were there, they saw that there is an opportunity for a solution and they led it, which is what's really cool. Because while our knowledge and our resources might be useful in certain contexts, sometimes all there is a funding gap. And if we can fill in that gap from all the numerous privileges that we have here, it feels like a no-brainer to just empower them like that and be able to get them to lead their own solutions.
And it's almost like you're not trying to go in with that saviour complex of, oh, I'm here to fix this problem, but actually asking them, what do you need?
I think we've been very persistent with that, in that we're not going to claim we're going to change Bangladesh we're going to save Bangladesh, I guess, more than anything. There are so many smart people out there, like I said, I've mentioned the guys that give Bangladesh literally a carbon copy or a mirror of us over there. And people are trying to solve problems there, and it is a lack of funding in these kind of in these areas and these countries, because there's also a trust issue, right? So how do you build that trust, provide them with the funding that they need to solve the problems that can ultimately help the economy, the people, everyone as a whole, and ultimately help it grow and prosper. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
So you mentioned there's a bunch of people there that are doing similar things. Why do you think that you guys are the right people to work on Pushpa?
I don't even, I mean, I can't guarantee that we are the right people to work on it, but what I can be 100% sure of is that in the Pushpa team, what's been incredible about this entire journey is from Mahian writing that first idea down in his notebook in 2019 up until today, every single person that's come to us and asked us to be part of Pushpa, whether that's through like a financial contribution or filling up like a sector gap we had in our team, have all been incredible experts at what they do and have transformed the way that Pushpa runs, from everything to like our behind the scenes Notion pages, to like our due diligence processes, to how we store and collect data, to how we build a UX interface, and to even how we market our actual product. Like every aspect of Pushpa has truly been built by the community, and all on a voluntary basis. Everybody who's working on Pushpa has full-time jobs, felt so passionate and compelled by what we were trying to do. They felt the need to join the team, and now on our weekends we all work together, which is the nerdiest, saddest thing, but we all have so much fun doing it. So I can't guarantee that we are the best people to do it, but I can guarantee that we are the people who have put in everything we have and more to make it a success.
That's similar to what I was going to say. I think we're in a weird position that, whether it's LinkedIn on my side or Zaynab on TikTok and Instagram, is that people probably see our names and Zaynab's face associated to Pushpa a lot, when in reality we've got a team of people who are probably smarter than us,
Definitely.
are smarter than us, and are amazing at what they do. Farah, I don't know, you might know a couple of the others, but you might have met a couple of the others already, but there's 8, 9 of us now, right? And these guys are creating something, and everyone's so passionate about it that whether we're the right people or not, and if something were to happen, we're not there. There's people there that truly care so much, and we've already got a community that's being built. Whether we're right people or not, there's something there for people to really build on, and we are actively working to build something that actually works and actually makes an impact. I said to Zaynab that even if we can help two people with this, I think we've done a job. So, and we're starting to do more. So I think, like I said, there's more of a team behind it, and they're definitely part of why they are probably the biggest reason as to why Pushpa is what it is now.
Yeah. So from both of your answers then, do you think that it's not so important that you have the exact skill set that you need, but rather kind of the passion and the vision for it?
Oh, yeah, I'm crap. I'm not. When she said she's jack of all trades, master of none. She's a master of so many trades. Me,
I agree.
right? And this has been my mantra the whole time. Like, I know I'm not the smartest. I know it, right? But I know I will put the work in to try and figure stuff out. And with all of this, I had no clue what I was doing. I still have no idea what I'm doing.
He's being modest though, because his landing page is now 10/10.
All right.
Like,
yeah, but that's
Coded, right?
yeah.
well, the rolling
Him and
code.
ChatGPT.
We're partners in code. I couldn't be one, but yeah, it's not. I don't think.
I think beyond skill, it's effort. Like, how much effort are you truly going to put in? It's that whole thing about how if you spend, what was it, like 10 minutes a day on something for like a year, or 3 years, you'll become an expert in it. I mean, that's the truth. Is like, if you're bothered to put in the effort, which is often the hardest part, it will all work out. You just have to keep trying.
I think yeah, that's the case with everything. I think whether you're doing this or whether you're in your own job, I always say unless you're confident.
It's that hard work beats talent.
Yeah. Trying to less one. Yeah. So that someone had told me a couple of years ago, which felt resonated so much with me, was some saying, I don't know where they got it from, right? But it's hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And I always felt that was me, that like I knew that I could outwork people, whether I knew it or not, and I will put all the effort in. And I still think that's the case today, that all the guys, genuinely, I still look at the guys in the team and I'm like, man, these guys are so much smarter than I am. But I work every day, got my other job, the job that pays me, and then I still put 4 or 5 hours, like 8 till 7 till 11 at night every day I'm working. So I know I will do it, and I just got to try to figure it out. I don't think anyone's got the answers, but.
So on what you said, actually, the amount of effort that you put in, how do you keep going when maybe things aren't going right, or it feels like it's kind of the end goal is way off in the distance, and it's like what keeps you like driven?
That's a really good question. I think that oftentimes, and I think this was the case when I first saw what Farah and Mahian had put together at the start, was we strive for perfection or the most perfect version of what we have in front of us. But I think one thing that we've all learned in this process, whether that's from our own jobs of working in startups or in this experience, is that you can't chase perfection at the start, because it never exists. Even 10 years down the line, I guarantee you will still be iterating our landing pages for sure. Like, that's just the way it goes. So you have to, the whole like baby steps, one step at a time, like all these cliches are cliches for a reason. If you set yourself goals that are smaller and tangible, and don't strive for perfection, but strive for like the best version of what you can do now with the limited resources you have, get to a point where where momentum doesn't feel so slow, and success, you can continue to appreciate your success at different steps. And I think that's the most important thing. When you get to a place where things feel like, well, this is more from my experiences at Cereal Box too, when you get to a place where you feel like you're not succeeding, or you're hitting a wall, or nothing's moving forward, I think it's important to reassess, what does success look like for you right now, not 50 years from now. And if success in this moment looks like having like a crap, like Squarespace little site with stock imagery, then that's what success is. And you do whatever you can to make that happen.
I think these questions are mad, because now I'm like thinking about, my work, my previous work, especially within recruitment and agency, actually did form, I think, why those scenarios are a lot easier. That sales is hard, and I mean, luckily I was good at it, and the money was very, very good, and ultimately it was just mission and purpose that that made me decide that I wanted to change, right? But it's really, really hard at the start, where to the point where you're like, what am I even doing? Like, how do I speak to someone on the phone, or how do I get them to do what I want them to do to make this sale? Because otherwise my director's going to be like, what the hell's going on, right? And it's so up and down that it's purely about resilience. And the only way out of resilience I found was preparation and planning and breaking things down to really simplify them. And I think I got really good at that over the years, which I think brought me to the point where in Pushpa it was really helpful, especially at the start, was you've got all these ideas in your head. How do you even start? How do you even go to it? And how do you create something? You're already at the end goal in your head. But to get to that end goal, there's so many little actions that you need to take. So it's like, how do you break that down? And ultimately, it's how do you go through that? And when it's really bad, I don't necessarily think I've found a point here which has felt really, really bad. I think we're all passionate about it enough where it doesn't necessarily feel like a setback. But I think the main reason for that is because there's a lot of planning, and success is like small wins. So even
like one of the terms we're constantly repeating is what's the simplest version of this? And I think that really helps, especially when you're in like the ideation phase and you're setting up your idea. Everyone has a big complicated strategy, a big justification, like 50 benefits for using this or being part of this. But the truth is people only connect with the simplest version of something because it's the only thing that is just is digestible for them.
You should see my 2019 document. It's about 10 pages
it's
nothing.
It's a 10-page rant.
Of nothing. Of how, after my mum called me asking for money to send to our village, there's got to be something to, I think we should do a fintech solution, blah, 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 peer-to-peer lending.
Yeah, that's actually the story you told me when I first met you.
That is the story.
Something about your mum.
My mum called me, it's 20 quid or 50 quid. I don't even remember, I've said this. So it's like either 20 quid or 50 quid for the 100th time. And then I got off the phone thinking, this is mental. How is this? This has been my whole life. What's happening with this money, right? Like, what is going on? Why are the people in my village still suffering when actually the conversion rate is ridiculously good, right? Like, I'm giving 20 quid, at that time as well. It's like, man, they're taking half my salary. But my mum and dad were definitely giving money. And you're like, what? How is this not helped in any sort of way? And there's got to be something more sustainable. Oh, my laptop.
And it was a fascinating starting point because you were able to see what the core problems and frustrations are and then what the potential solutions could look like. But it's also important to scale it back. Again, find the simplest version of everything.
I was looking up how to get regulated. I'd written the idea, though next week I was looking at FCA regulations on how to get regulated. And then I was like, this is too hard.
And then when we did scale it back and make it simple, we realised that the biggest thing that we have to address here is people's trust issues when it comes to anything related to Bangladesh, which is why we started here.
And also the importance of co-founders. Real importance of co-founders.
100%.
Farah and Zaynab.
I will die on this hill of like your co-founder is everything. Like,
right. If you're going to have a co-founder, obviously. But Farah and Zaynab, so bear in mind I've got this massive document created 3 years prior, which I don't even understand the ramblings on about anymore. And then I've come to Farah, my cousin as well. So I've come to Farah and said, hey, look, I've got this idea. I've looked at it and she's like, you need to do a survey. There's no way you can you say this product is needed and you've not even asked people, right? But I thought of all of this. I'm sure there's 100 people that think of this, and it's like, no, it doesn't work like that, right? So then, and that's the naivety around. I mean, you can, like I said, do it by yourself, but you can. It's also someone that understands. You need to understand what the market is like, or what people are like, or what consumer behavior or behavior is like in the specific area. And then we built this survey out. And luckily the survey proved that my ramblings were not of a madman, but of what people actually thought. So, but that was amazing in itself that when Farah and I first started putting the survey out, we got loads of people actually came through with the survey, and it really proved what we were trying to do. And
so do you think it, so obviously the idea of Pushpa has changed over time. Do you think to an extent your purpose with it has changed? Or do you think a purpose can change?
I can answer my bit first,
Go for it,
because
yeah.
I think that it's very individual as well, right?
Yeah.
Because when we talk about purposes, mine isn't going to be the same as yours, but I think so. I definitely think the purpose has changed, because for me, and what I think Pushpa should be, or the goal should essentially still be the same as what the initial idea came around, or around investment and really investing in people in Bangladesh. I think where it's changed is coming out of the survey, and actually it's become, it's a non-profit, and building that trust. When I looked at the values, connection was sort of the second or third point. Right? It's like people who wanted to help or really impact Bangladesh or South Asia, your home country in South Asia. And the connection and rebuilding that connection was sort of second and third point at the start. I always thought, because I guess for me personally, I was connected to Bangladesh. That was although that was a thought point, it wasn't a main factor. Whereas now, seeing the surveys, people want to connect a lot more, and we don't have previously there wasn't a lot of transparency in the dealings from remittance perspective, or any sort of finance or investment perspective that was going over in Bangladesh. That the purpose of Pushpa right now is rebuilding that trust for people, and I think that's such a cool responsibility to have. Like it's something that weighs heavy, but it's also a really cool thing to do, where you're like, we've all heard it, they're all crooks. Everyone in Bangladesh is a crook. Everyone will steal your money. And our point is, we understand, we get it, but there's got to be a way that we can help where we're not impacted as heavily. We're never going to say that it's not going to impact in some sort of way, but as heavily, how do we navigate that area, but also build something that actually does provide everyone a connection back home? So bringing that forward, as opposed to the end goal, I think has been a really cool story for us over the next, I think it will be the next couple of years at least.
Yeah, and it's good because there's no kind of short-term quick fix for that. You can only do that over time.
Yeah, and we're not rushing. We're not here to turn this into having thousands and thousands of people and millions of pounds that's going to happen in the next year to 2 years. I understand trust takes time, and it's hard to do, but there's got to be a way to do it. And that's also Zaynab's job in showing people that.
I'm trying to think of trying to think of where my answer differs from yours, and I don't think it does, because we've had such lengthy conversations about what Pushpa's true purpose is. But I think because we've all been on the same page about this being a period of trust building, I think it's pretty much aligned. So it's hard to think of anything different. I think personally it's evolved. Like the purpose of what Pushpa means to me has evolved, where in the beginning it felt like an opportunity to create a financially exclusive platform to encourage other people to not only get involved in investing, but invest in something with purpose, which still is the ultimate goal. And I'm excited about building that part out. But personally, as I've understood more about what it means to be Bangladeshi, and I've connected with more Bangladeshis as well, I think it's become more of a way to express and connect with my identity. And this April, May, when are we going?
May.
This May will be like the first time I actually get to go to Bangladesh, and not only will it be an opportunity for me to meet some of the estranged family that I didn't know existed, but also visit some of the incredible projects and people that we've managed to impact through the work that we've all done together. So I think personally it's changed, but from an institutional perspective, we've all been pretty much on the same page.
That's really exciting. I think May's going to be, that trip.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I haven't been in 17 years.
Wow, it must have changed a lot by then.
Yeah, I'm sure it has. Yeah. I mean, even the videos and photos. But I mean, the purpose here, I'm not going to go and sit in my family's house for 6 weeks during summer holidays, which is what it was all the time.
Fed everything as newlyweds.
Yeah.
It's not the plan.
Yeah, but yeah.
You're going to go there and do that, you realise.
I'm not going to tell anyone. We've not. No, we are. We have.
We've told everybody that we're going for work. So yeah.
So I mean, it will be work. We've got a lot of people to meet. We've got our first vote coming up in April. So then we'll have to meet people when we go there. So, and then we've got loads of other plans. So yeah, I'm excited though. It's going to be really cool.
I'm excited for you guys. Okay, so this series is all about people who maybe don't exactly know what their purpose is, and obviously you guys have kind of from early on recognize your values and been able to align that, is there any advice you'd give for people who maybe don't know where to start and they feel a little bit lost about, they want to put their energy somewhere, but they feel a bit lost about where to go?
I think true purpose comes from doing something intentionally. So whether that's you doing something that's directly related to impact building or helping people or whatever it may be, I think if you do something with complete conviction that this is something you're doing because it's the right thing for you to do, then I think you're on the right track anyway. And I'll give you an example. So my sister, I don't know how she does this, but she's a doctor and she's worked really hard to get to where she is. And she tells me that she thinks the work that I do is incredible. And I look at her and I say, well, you literally save lives. Like, that's your whole job. You keep people alive. So I think what you do is incredible. But we're always in this constant battle of not battle, but we're in this constant conversation of being in awe of each other's purpose. But really, like, both are really important. It's just the fact that we both do these things with complete conviction and with complete, that's not intention, what's the word? Not intention. No, it's like, I can't find the word.
I can't think of the word.
Intention, conviction, it's something like that. But basically this idea that, like, anything can be fulfilling and can be purposeful if you truly believe that it's the right thing for you to do. And you can always redefine what that looks like for you. You can find purpose in other things, and not everyone's job will be their purpose. Not everyone's income will be their ultimate source of truth. Like, sometimes your purpose is varied. We're all so different, and your purpose can come in other forms.
Interesting, because it's, in this day and age, it feels really loaded because it's under the assumption that, I feel, when you ask that or anyone asks that, is predominantly around entrepreneurship and creating something and building something. I don't necessarily like that because not everyone has to build something, right? Not everyone has to create something from scratch. I never had this in mind. Ever. I never thought of myself, I'm going to go and build a business, I'm going to create a non-profit. None of that. And I never wanted to do that, or I never foresaw myself doing that. What I always felt was, if I wanted to do something really badly, then you try and find a way to do it, right? And that can be, and going back to when I was in my job, right, when it was really crap and I really wanted to be successful at it, is how do you break it down to go and reach the success that you want to do? So whatever anyone wants to do, whether that is in their own jobs and reach the top of that ladder in the corporate world, whether that's in entrepreneurship, whether that's building something from the ground up, it's, I guess, similar, right? It's, unless you're doing that with real conviction and you really want to do it, that can be your purpose, right? That can really be what you're driven by. We're also different, that not everyone has to go and build a tech company or, be the most senior person in the company that they're in, or get their role to the most senior you can in that specific role. It's just, if that's your purpose or that's your mission to go and do it, find out a way to do it. But it doesn't necessarily have to be, building something. So
true purpose comes from intentionality, whether that's what you do for a living or beyond that. It always comes down to doing something with complete conviction.
Yeah, that's really, that's.
It's a no.